Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It's Thursday again, and time for another hangout with Tammy and Tom. Although you're only seeing Tammy right now. Tom will be on in a minute. He's just checking, make sure, do we have sound? Is everything working this morning? We sure hope it is. We see that you guys are already really busy in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, hi and welcome. We're so happy to have everybody here today. So we're gonna do a hangout, and earlier this week, I did a little survey on Instagram and Facebook. I didn't know how to do one on YouTube, so you guys can participate in the chat. And what we were trying to find out is exactly what kind of content you guys are ready to see on our channel and on our social media, such as Instagram and Facebook. And we were also curious, like, how many of you follow us in how many places? And so I took the responses that I got from Facebook and Instagram, and I just, did a little graph here, I guess, just to see where everybody's watching us. And so what is interesting is that we found out that the Facebook followers pretty much like to stick to Facebook. The Instagrammers pretty much like to stick to Instagram. And so we're kind of assuming that the YouTube followers probably really like YouTube the best. Now there were some people who watch us or follow our work on all three outlets: Instagram, Facebook, and also YouTube. So, and it was interesting too, just to see like the responses of the content they want. Like some people on Facebook said, I really like that you promote different products, but then you should come back and show us how to use them. And I was like, well, that's on YouTube. That's where you have to go to get the instructional videos and the instructional videos for recipes as well. So anyway, we wanted to share with you what we found out about that today. And if you're new, we're whole food plant-based, and welcome to our community. Tom, who do we have in the chat? Tiffany and Jesse are here to help us moderate the chat. So hi ladies, thanks for being here. They volunteer for us, and they come every week and help out. And I got a really nice email from a viewer, maybe it was a Facebook or Instagram response. Now I can't remember. Anyway, she said that she absolutely loves the YouTube community that we have. She looks forward to it. It's a good support for her, and her husband has a terminal illness, and coming and watching and being part of the community here and the interaction is very supportive for her and a social outlet. So I just think, you guys in the chat, you are just amazing and so warm and welcoming, and it makes such a huge difference in people's lives, and sometimes in ways that we are unaware of. So anyway, so we're happy to have you here. So I asked people about the type of content that they wanted to see, and you can leave your response here in the chat. And I asked, do you want more recipes? Do you want more interviews with people in the plant-based community? Do you want information about weight loss, batch prepping, kitchen hacks, etc.? So there was an overwhelming response for recipes, and I feel like we have a lot of them, but apparently people want more, and what they want are easy meals and bowl ideas. So when they're talking about a bowl, some people call it a hippie bowl, or it can be a nourish bowl or a Buddha bowl, and that's where you are just combining different ingredients in a bowl to create a meal rather than a steadfast recipe, let's say. And so that's a lot what Tom and I do. So, and I tell people it can be as simple as a green, a grain, and a bean. And that can be a meal. And it could be 2 different kinds of grains. It could be 2 different kinds of beans. It could be 2 different or more different types of greens as well. And that can be a meal. So anyway, and then people wanted ideas. Our friend Dixie said, I thought she had a good suggestion, bowl meals with simple sauces. And so thanks for that idea as well, Dixie. And then other people saw your post and they also chimed in with that. And so in the chat feed, if you could put, if you follow us on any other platform other than YouTube, that would be helpful for us to know. Are you on Instagram and Facebook as well? Or are you strictly YouTube? And then what type of content would you like us to be putting on our YouTube channel or on the blog going forward? What do you want to see more of? We had a little bit of interest in sprouting and quite a bit of interest in weight loss tips. So that was also really interesting. And we do have already a lot of videos on our YouTube channel about weight loss, but we can certainly expand on that. And then batch prepping was also really popular. Batch prepping and freezing meals ahead. And so we do have a few videos on batch prepping, and we've done some where we just, like, I was batch prepping on the weekend and we just decided to go live and brought you guys in with us and showed what we were doing in real time, and that was fun. And if you guys are interested, I would do that again one of these days. And and then a lot of people said easy meals that are going to be very easy to make. So that's like the quick and easy, the easy meals and the bowls. That was super popular. And then Instant Pot videos. There was some interest in getting more Instant Pot videos. And then kitchen hacks was like really popular. A lot of people said, I love getting kitchen hacks, things that will save time, save money, and less waste of food. And so I've actually been documenting a list of kitchen hacks that I like, that I use. And so I want to do like videos where I just show you maybe like 3 to 5 kitchen hacks, and then we put that out. And then there were a lot of people who said that they would appreciate shorter videos. Some people want them at least under an hour, and some people don't like anything more than 20 minutes. And so one thing that I'll tell you that I end up doing myself, because I also don't have time to sit and watch hour-long videos, but what I do is I will put my earbuds in for my iPhone, and I will listen to YouTube videos while I'm working. I might listen while I'm batch prepping, cleaning the house, going for a walk. Sometimes I will listen to just like 20 minutes at a time. It can take me 3 days to get through a 1 hour YouTube video, but I'm listening to it. And then if I have the phone usually in my pocket, and then if there's something on that YouTube video that they're showing that I want to see, I'll pull it out and look at it. So anyway, so some of our longer videos, you don't have to sit and watch beginning to end. You can break them up and watch them in 20-minute segments. And we've had some of our viewers tell us that that's what they do. Tom's got something. Come on, Tom. Hop in.
I gotta figure out what button to push here. Hold on. There I am. Okay, yeah, I'm up here in my Reeves cam in the upper right-hand corner. Mm-hmm. So
I like it. I like it.
So those of you that follow Will Your World will know what that means. So on the video length thing, I get involved in that intimately because I'm doing the editing on the stuff that we upload And there's kind of like 3 categories of videos. There's this live. This is a this is a community interaction video, a live show with replay, and like Tammy said, it's at least an hour. It's usually an hour and a half, and sometimes more. But it's a community video. If I'm editing one of Tammy's recipes moving forward, I am trying to keep those at 20 minutes or less. You'll see them coming in at 16 minutes, 17 minutes. I'm really working to keep those tight to where if somebody wants to cook a particular thing, they can get that through that video, and include all of Tammy's wonderful details, because a lot of folks are not wanting to know just what to do, but also how to do it. So I'm editing that way. And then
They're asking you to speak up louder.
Okay.
Your mic might be a little light.
I'll turn my, well, I should probably hold it because this is a different kind of mic. How is this, everybody? I'm up closer now. And then the third thing that we do, and we actually, we did a batch prepping, was it a Saturday morning where we just realized...
A weekend morning, I don't remember which day.
A weekend morning we had a whole bunch to do, and so we just decided to turn on the camera and spend the morning with whoever viewers wanted to stop in and visit with us that morning, and that was like a 3-hour long. And we actually did receive a complaint email about that, complaining that our videos are way too long. That is a community involvement, community participation type of video. We don't intend people to necessarily sit there and, like Tammy was saying, sit there. You're welcome to sit there and watch it, but it's like if you're doing your batch cooking, flip your iPad or computer around and batch cook with us.
Right.
So kind of 3 distinct categories. And I actually did one experiment, I forget on which platform, where I did was it a 1 minute, where it was just the ingredients going in the blender, one of those real fast chop, stir, done videos.
We did get good response on that.
And I may play with those a little bit more moving forward as we get into our new season. So anyway, but
that video actually took longer to edit.
It is far more tedious to slice down to just the bare essentials to have in a very short video. So yeah, it did take more of my time, but it takes less of your time. So I get that. Some people just want the facts, they want to do the recipe, and they want to be out. So we're aware of that. I will be experimenting with that moving forward. But I think on recipe upload, and what we call uploads, not lives, we're really looking for that 20-minute or less mark at this point. So
yeah, for recipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Hangouts are not a formal presentation. I think it's important to point that out to people too, Tom, that the Hangouts are less formal. They're, we're going to see where the community takes us with the chat, the questions that are in the chat.
After our survey conversation, this conversation could go anywhere this morning.
Yeah, right.
Because these shows are your shows. And so, yeah, we're here for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And so in the comments, Tom, while you were chatting, somebody says, yeah, we need an updated dump soup video from Tom. Hello. And how about how he cooks rice in the Instant Pot?
Oh, my rice was so perfect this week, wasn't it?
Every week, you guys, when he makes rice, I say, Tom, we should shoot a video of that. And he's like, oh, not right now. Don't like what I'm wearing, or no.
My hair wasn't
My
perfect.
hair's not perfect, or
or I can't see straight with these crazy glasses I'm wearing.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Okay. Thank you, honey.
All right.
That's great.
Here you go.
So yeah, and then another popular one was breakfast ideas. And you guys know I don't post a lot of stuff about breakfast because I don't typically eat breakfast now. And I did on the cruise. I had breakfast on the cruise because I decided that I was going to have breakfast when we were on the cruise, and I wanted to try their stuff that they made. But at home, I don't typically eat breakfast unless it's like a holiday and we do like a brunch or something like that. But I do like some breakfast foods later in the day. I'm not opposed to having hot oatmeal for my dinner meal, or in the wintertime, maybe I would have it for lunch or something instead. And so I am collecting up some recipes and developing some things for you all for breakfast as well. So know that I'm working on that as well. Oh, we also asked people if they liked reels or not. And out of the 100 people that responded to our little survey, there were only 3 people that said that they like reels. Otherwise, people said they go too fast, can't really copy down a recipe from them, don't like the music, and not a fan of reels. And I have to tell you that I agree with you. I am not a fan of reels either. And if I'm on Facebook or Instagram, in public someplace, in a waiting room or what have you, and I'm scrolling and looking, I do not want to have music blasting all of a sudden coming from my phone because of the music from a reel. And I prefer pictures and the written word myself. So anyway, I think it's an age-related thing.
She was spending so much time on reels in
oh
the
my
morning.
Gosh.
And yeah, that stole time away from our YouTube efforts. So
because the word on the street was, if you don't start putting reels up on Instagram,
if you didn't do reels, you were no longer going to be relevant in the social media world.
Well, they said your algorithm, that way the algorithm works, it won't. But okay, so here's what happened this last week. Facebook assigned us a Facebook manager for our Facebook page, and we had a phone call.
Well, they heard that you were going to cut back on doing reels, and so they came after you.
And
Facebook sent a lady after Tammy.
And so we had a really nice conversation with her. And of course, she's much younger than us. But I told her, I think it's an age-related thing. I think that our demographic group just is not into the short, fast-paced, TikTok-style reels that have become popular. And the people on Instagram, we all were drawn to Instagram because of the beautiful photography. And, it's just a different presentation. And so she said, well, that isn't true about the algorithm. If you do just put up one little short, little video a week, then you will still get included in it. And so anyway, got helpful tips from her. And instead of spending time crafting a reel, which you guys, sometimes they can take, a couple hours to edit and put together and put in all of the wording and all of that. I mean, literally, I spent hours making those reels. And it did take me away from doing other things. I might just do talking head. I might just do a, 90-second, here's a kitchen hack, here's a tip, here's, look what I made for dinner kind of thing, and put those up instead of trying to do the fancy reels. So anyway, thank you for the feedback on all of that. And I know that we didn't send out, Tracy Reese is saying, I don't think I got a survey. We didn't mail one out, Tracy. We just asked on Instagram and Facebook what people liked and what social media outlets they follow us on. And then we didn't know exactly how to do it here on YouTube. So we thought, well, we would just ask you the questions today. Where do you follow us? Do you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube? And are you on our mailing list? Do you get our emails as well? And then what kind of content would you like to see moving forward? What would you like more of? More recipes, more hangouts, more interviews with interesting people in the plant-based community? If it is recipes that you want specifically, what kind of recipes do you all want? Do you like product demonstrations? Whatever ideas that you guys have, we're open to that. I'm keeping notes on what suggestions people have given us for content so that we can do that for you moving forward. Tom's raising his hand.
And if you, are you going to call on me?
I'm calling on you, Tom.
All right.
Yes, Tom.
If you want to leave a comment here, just on things that you like or want to see on the channel, or any comments about Reels or Facebook or Instagram usage, drop that in. Tammy does go back after the show and reviews comments. So not, we won't necessarily, speak to your post right this moment, but it's good information for Tammy to take note of later. So feel free to if you didn't respond to Facebook or Instagram, feel free to drop your thoughts here. I saw that some people already have done that.
Yes, and I love it.
That one I saw go by, that they are on Facebook and Instagram, but are not fans of the Reels, for instance.
Right.
So,
and I want to say, Sia, our friend Sia from 6D Living, is in the chat, and she has a lot of new programs coming up this fall, you guys, and we're trying to work out when we can get her on the show. But Jesse or Tiffany, if one of you could post a link in the comments to 6D Living, and then people go check out. She has online book clubs. They're reading books by people from the plant-based community. She has modified intermittent fasting programs, which I did several videos about my experience with that. And so that's really awesome. You can live anywhere in the world and still join her programs. So she has a wonderful community. We know that a lot of people from our community have joined Sia's. So I told Sia in an email, I feel like our two communities have merged, and now we're like one big happy family. So Tiffany or Jesse.
Jesse did it.
Jesse did it. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate that.
Jesse wins the prize. What happened, Tiffany?
Well, Tiffany was probably answering somebody else.
It's not a competition.
It's not a competition. So anyway, I'm excited about doing some things for upcoming videos. Tom and I are going to start scheduling when to do our videos so that they actually happen. And so you might see less of me on Instagram and Facebook because we feel like YouTube is a better platform for us because it's searchable. So you can actually, find things easier on YouTube. You can, if there's a specific topic you're wondering if we have covered, it's much easier to find that on YouTube and also on our blog. So we also want to give more attention to our blog because that is also a searchable tool for you guys to be able to use, and a place where I can actually park information for things that I get asked frequently, so that I'm not spending a lot of time typing the same thing over and over in emails. So, and we love your emails. We love your questions. And we love when you guys write to us and share your story with us because it's so encouraging for us to know that we are helping people. And so remember, when you are following people in social media, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, it's nice to give them some feedback so that they know what they're doing is beneficial. So
Tracy Reese says, "Yay, yes. YouTube is way better."
Well, I love the YouTube format. I love being able to do recipes on YouTube videos. I like being able to come on and chat. I do really enjoy the YouTube format.
One thing that is a total mystery to us, though, is the YouTube community. There's a tab on our little navigation panel where I can post, an image and a short message and a link as a YouTube post. We're not quite sure what happens with those, I get some kind of like little likes come back where somebody is actually seeing them. I did one yesterday, for instance, for what I did for the YouTube community, because we don't know that they're on our mailing list, is I posted a link to the newsletter that went out yesterday. Mm-hmm. So did anybody, how does that pop up on your YouTube feed? I'm wondering.
Good question. Okay, so questions in the chat, Tom? Are you watching for questions in the chat?
They've all been talking about the same stuff you are.
Okay.
About a couple of comments on Florida. We are anxiously waiting to hear about how things are going there. It's our thoughts are certainly with those people. I made a comment in the chat. My sister has a winter home there. If it's still there, it's on Fort Myers Beach at the main impact point of the storm.
Right along the canal.
Yeah, it is up on stilts. It's on the back side of the island, so it didn't get like right off the ocean because they're on the inside of the island towards the mainland. Their house is up on stilts, but if
the camera's there.
If the storm surge was 7.5 feet, I'm always trying to look at her. I always look at her. And then another sibling says, well, it was predicted to be 12 feet, so we don't know.
Although she did find a neighbor. They're not there.
That was before the storm, though.
They're at home in Minnesota, but they did find a neighbor posted a video before the storm, and they saw their dock.
Their dock was floating away.
Yeah. So doesn't look good. So our thoughts and prayers are with everyone in Florida. So La Chinita, am I saying that right? Has a question. If you have a chance, can you give tips on basic seasoning, please? Yes. So if you're salt, oil, and sugar free, you just need to use a lot of seasonings, whatever your favorite seasonings are. So some of mine are garlic powder and onion powder. And then I love seasoning blends because you don't have to get out 8 different jars of seasonings. So we love the ones from Well Your World. They have SOS free seasonings. I think Tom has a link to Well Your World down underneath this YouTube video in the video description. So Well Your World, we have an affiliate link to them. They have wonderful salt, oil, sugar-free seasoning blends, which are fantastic. We also like local Spicery. That is a company out of Marysville, California, close to us. We are friends with Nick and Evelyn. They mill their own spices, so they buy the raw spices in bulk, and then they mill them themselves in Marysville. And so everything that you buy from them is like super fresh because they mill them in small batches. So whether you like Greek or Indian food or South African or Italian, whatever you like, they have an entire line of salt-free seasonings. As well as, lots of all of your favorite spices. And they have the best cinnamon that I have ever had. It's amazing. And so use spices. We also use to replace the salt. They have, well, I'll just grab it. You talk for a second.
We're actually scheduled to go up and see Nick and Evelyn on October 12th, I think, and we are going to take some of our equipment up and film a cooking demo right there in their kitchen on their second level, and it's going to be focused on curry.
Because somebody asked, because a viewer asked.
That was a viewer request to take a deeper dive on curries, and when it comes to spice, Nick is like has the most depth knowledge about spices of anybody I've ever met. And he likes to cook, and he likes to cook on camera. It just doesn't get any better. So Tammy's going to be there with him, and we'll have a fun time doing it. That will be an upload. That will not be a live. They're in a rural community they do have internet there, but I want to do nice lighting, a good recording of that, bring it back and edit it, and then put that one up. And that actually probably will not fall into the 20 minutes recipe category. That's going to fall into the 1 hour interview category in terms of video length. So so that's a few weeks away for that one.
So
are you back, Tammy?
I'm back. So Nick did say that the cooking part will take about 30 minutes, and then he's going to talk to us about all the different types of curry blends. And one thing that I did learn when we were on the ship interviewing the chef who was from India, he said if you go into a store in India and you're looking for a curry blend, you are not going to find it because we do not do things that way. He was like, we make our own curry blend. So that was fun. Well, anyway, so this is local Spicery. Their containers have changed a little bit because they couldn't get these same containers because of the pandemic. So the lids on the current items will look like this instead of like this. But the products are still the same. So local Spicery. So like their onion powder, their garlic powder, they taste so incredible, you guys. So much better than what you can buy at Costco or at the grocery store. Nothing wrong with the ones from Costco or the grocery store. These just have a lot more flavor. I love them. So they're great. So the Hester herb blend, it's a Greek herb blend. I really like this. I will just sprinkle this on my salads, sprinkle it on vegetables, put it on potatoes. It's so great. This is the Toscana garlic tomato blend. You can, use this the same way. You can put it on your grains, your greens, your potatoes. It's just your salads, so delicious. And they just add, because they have different spices in them, different blends, they just taste so great. This is my favorite cinnamon, the Saigon Cassia cinnamon. This tastes like it has sugar in it. In fact, some people contact Nick and say, I think that cinnamon I bought has sugar in it, because this just naturally tastes really sweet. And as you can see, I need a new jar. And then this is their salt substitute. This is Salacious salt substitute. And this is the one that tastes the most like salt out of any that I have. Now, all of my salt substitutes that I like and recommend all taste really good, but this one actually tastes like salt. So, and that's from local Spicery. We have a link because we are affiliates with them underneath the video. Click on that. That takes you to my page. And on my page there, you can click on Tammy's favorites. And you can see all the different spices that I buy from them. And they're really fantastic. You can't go wrong. They're incredible. So, and then again, the Salacious salt substitute is amazing. I sprinkle it on everything. It's so good if you want something salty. So then, yes, Tom, I'm not done with salt.
No, I did drop their link in the chat as well, but
great.
But it is down in the show notes, absolutely.
Right.
So
they no longer have, they used to have a showroom in Marysville. I was emailing with them just yesterday, and Nick said they no longer have a storefront at Marysville. They are just using it as their like a little warehouse, and it's where they're milling everything. And then they do have a beautiful shop down in Tiburon. Am I saying that right? Down by San Francisco. And but anyway, you can find that out. Then from Well Your World, from Dylan and Reeves at Well Your World, we have, can they see these? I'm trying to put them where I think they'll be able to see them.
Yeah, just turn the labels towards the camera.
Well, if Randy was here, she would be insisting that I do that. So these are from Well Your World, and you can see they have a wide variety of seasoning mix. So this is Galaxy Dust.
Hold it. Look over here. See, you're twisting it the wrong way.
Am I twisting it? It's so hard to know.
Perfect. Right
here we go.
That's it.
Okay, Galaxy Dust. This one is Stardust, and this is a salt substitute. It's backwards for me, for the camera. Calypso. Got to go this way. Calypso. There we go. That's better. Great for salad, stir fry, veggie soups, one pot meals. The chili lime. This is one of my favorites. I use this on a lot of Mexican stuff. When we travel, We take this with us because we can use that prepackaged, already cooked rice, a box of beans, and some frozen corn right in our hotel room, and put some of this on there, and it's a delicious meal. And you can add greens. And then the zesty, oops, got to turn it the other way, and zesty. And there might be more. These were what I had right here in the cupboard. And so from Well Your World. And we also will tell you that Well Your World has an amazing cooking classes twice a month. I believe it's only $15 to join, and you get 2 live cooking classes with them every month. And it's amazing. So, and if you can't watch it, it's at like noon Pacific time on Fridays, like every other Friday. If you can't catch it live at that time, you can watch the replay. And they do a lot of quick and easy recipes. They are new parents. They don't have a lot of time to spend in the kitchen. And they do a lot of kitchen hacks and that kind of thing too. So we love Dylan and Reeves and all of their products. Yes.
A note on the links.
Yes.
Those of you that are looking at the chat, you'll notice that Local Spicery was localspicery.com/nutmegnotebook. And then Well Your World's is wellyourworld.com/nutmeg. I tried going to Local Spicery with just the nutmeg link, and you wind up looking at a picture of nutmeg because it's a spice company. So we are the whole Nutmeg Notebook, longer name on that affiliate link, because otherwise you wind up with spice and not Tammy and the spice. So anyway, just the difference between those two links, that Well Your World had the nutmeg solo name available for us. Just 'cause shorter is quicker and better anytime you're entering a URL. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. So what are you looking for now?
Oh,
Tammy?
because there's another question.
Okay.
Okay, so then also, if you're trying to make up for the lack of salt in your food, citrus is really great. Lemon or lime work really well to kind of give you that that little flavor that you're missing when you're not using the salt. So don't forget about squeezing a little bit of lemon juice or lime juice on the food right before you eat it, because it gives you a nice little salty flavor, as well as some vegetables are just naturally higher in sodium. So like celery, chop that up, put it in your salads, put it in your soups, because it naturally has a higher sodium content. Also, Swiss chard. A lot of the big dark leafy greens just naturally taste more salty than other things. So if you chop that up, add that, even if you have like a bowl of chili, put rice in the bottom of the bowl, add some chopped up greens, and then add the hot chili on top, and they will wilt those greens for you, and they will add a little bit of a salty flavor for you as well. So then I saw a question. Let's see. Tom, there was a question. Gail says, I could use a few tofu recipe options that are not made with soy sauce, but still have an Asian flair. So, Well Your World has salad dressings as well as sauces. And so I'm just showing you what the bottles look like. But they have an Asian sauce that is really good. So if you haven't tried that, that's really good. But you have to live in the US to be able to get the Well Your World products. And I know that not everybody does. Then we also like Date Lady. She has a couple different sauces. So she has this barbecue sauce, and then she also has a chili sauce, which is great for Asian food. I like to take her chili sauce and mix it with a little bit of balsamic vinegar to cut the sweetness, because they are sweet because they are date based. And then you can add garlic powder, or if you want to take it, further Asian, Nick from local Spicery. He has like a Chinese 5-spice that you could use to add to it, to give it that little bit of Asian flair. If you can handle a little bit of sodium, coconut aminos, that's what I use for the grandkids. I might have that here. Yep. Boy, this is just like perfect positioning, Tom, that the refrigerator's right behind me. I can reach it right from my chair. This is coconut aminos.
You could spend the whole day on YouTube and have all of your food
and right there
within arm's reach.
There you go.
Talk to the people. Life's good right where you're sitting. Right
yeah,
there.
I could just eat with the people. It could be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is coconut aminos. This takes the place of soy sauce or I can't think of the other one that's gluten-free, tamari sauce. So this has organic coconut tree sap, and it does have some sea salt in it. But for 1 teaspoon, it has 90 milligrams, which is like way, 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 way lower than soy sauce. Not for everybody. I know not everybody can have the leeway to add some sodium to their food, but we do use some condiments that have sodium because we eat so clean the rest of the time and we don't have sodium, and so we don't add salt to our food. So Tom and I do use condiments that have salt added to them, and if you don't, we totally get it. We have many friends who can't do that. And when we're eating with them, we always make sure that we don't use anything that has added sodium, just what comes naturally. But if you take this and mix it with like the Date Lady chili sauce, then you can get kind of a nice Asian flavor to it. The Asian is the hardest one, I think, to do SOS free, just because like where else can we get that flavor that soy sauce has, and keep it no sodium? I just haven't figured it out. I've only been able to figure out how to do it like low sodium. Okay, so hope that helps. And also you can do like, if you do Well Your World ketchup, or you can make your own ketchup. We have a video and a recipe on the blog to make your own ketchup. So if you make your own ketchup and you add some of the Date Lady chili sauce to it, or if you don't have that, you could do date paste with it. You could do some red pepper flakes with it, and then like a Chinese 5-spice with it, and kind of create a little bit of that flavor. You can also use the rice wine vinegar. You just want to make sure that you get one that doesn't have sugar added to it, because some of them do have sugar or salt added to them. So look at the ingredients. And if anybody has found like a really great SOS free sauce for Asian, share it with me, please. Okay, and you can marinate tofu in that. That's where I started to go. So our daughter does one with ketchup and balsamic vinegar for the kids, and she does add some maple syrup to it, but you could do date syrup instead.
Can we put that ketchup video in the show notes?
Yeah, that'd be great. You can also do the coconut aminos, some date syrup, and a little bit of balsamic vinegar. And that makes a really nice marinade for tofu as well. Okay, let's see.
You spell ketchup with a C or a K?
You can spell it however you wish. I usually spell it with a K.
Okay. Do we need to take a survey on that?
Well, I suppose we could, but La Chinita, if I'm saying it right.
Oh, did she answer my question?
I don't know. She has a question.
Oh.
Spanish food is so hard because everything is so salty. Seasoning, I'm trying to change that. love that I found you guys.
Yeah, I asked
Thank
her.
you.
I asked La Chinita
La Chinita.
because in Spanish, Chinita could be either ladybug or ladybird. So she's La
Ooh.
Chinita. That's such a cute YouTube handle.
Okay. All right. So I'm just scanning here, looking for. So Jessie says that she uses a lot of chili powder, a lot of onions and tomatoes, homemade pico. Yes, all of those things are great. A teaspoon of this and a half a teaspoon of that. Yes. Thank you for that, for reminding me about using salsa and pico. And I have, I don't know, 3 or 4 different recipes on the blog for making your own salsa. There's one using fresh tomatoes, one using canned tomatoes, which is great in the wintertime when we don't get really good tomatoes. I have a mango one. I have a tomatillo one that you just broil the tomatillos and the onion and the garlic and put it in the blender. It's so easy, so fast, and so delicious. So thank you, Jessie. Yes, salsa is absolutely fantastic for seasoning things. And don't forget fresh herbs, fresh basil, fresh dill, mint, cilantro. I love cilantro, so I use a lot of it. You can use Italian parsley if you don't like cilantro, but don't forget about fresh herbs. And I like to use them at the end, not at the beginning of the cooking. The flavor dissipates from all the heat of the fresh. The heat for dried herbs makes them pop, but for fresh, add them at the end and sprinkle them over, chop them up, and sprinkle them over the top, and that will give you a ton of flavor. And just know that you have to neuroadapt and get used to the lack of salt, and it can take anywhere from 30 days to 90 days for you to neuroadapt and get past wanting salt, oil, and sugar. And once you do neuroadapt, then you will be amazed at how delicious the food tastes, and you will be amazed at how salty certain things taste. Like when you take a bite of raw celery, you'll go, oh my gosh, that tastes so salty to me now. So hang in there, it gets better. Okay, Tom's been busy posting. Does local Spicery offer free shipping with certain purchases amount? Yeah, it's $75. Oh, they did answer her.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tracy Reese, I think, is your next question.
I gotta find where that's. I'm looking for. Is it with question marks?
Yes.
Tracy Reese says, if making lima beans, what seasoning would you use to replace animal product? Okay, well, I don't like lima beans, so I'm not a real good person to ask. However, if lima beans are usually with something like with ham, is that, I know navy beans are, like our moms used to make navy beans and ham. I remember that with the ham bone. So you can use the smoked liquid smoke. So Dr. Greger, I believe, has a video about that where people asked him, is that an okay thing to use? And he says it is. It's not carcinogenic because they're just capturing the smoke that comes off of it, I guess, somehow. And so he says it's okay. So you can use a little bit of that, and that will help give you that smoky flavor. And then California Balsamic has it's either smoked hickory or hickory smoked balsamic. And I absolutely love that because you get the sweetness of the balsamic vinegar, and then you also get that smokiness. And it's absolutely delicious. If you don't have California balsamic, or you don't live where you can get it delivered to you, because I know shipping is very expensive outside of the US for it. But we do have a link in our show notes for California balsamic. You could just take your balsamic vinegar and you could add a little bit of the liquid smoke to it and see how that goes. So, but the liquid smoke can really make your beans and greens taste like they have that animal product in them. And if anybody else has any ideas in the show notes, please let us know. Cheryl Atkins says smoked paprika might work too, and that's a really good one. I love the dry chipotle powder. I love it. It has some heat to it, but it's really, really good and adds a lot of flavor. And so does the smoked paprika. That's also really nice. Now, if you want to get flavor without heat, I know that local Spicery has 1 or 2 of dried peppers that are going to give flavor, but without the heat. So let's see what else we have. Jessie says she would try local Spicery's pepperoni spice to your lima beans. And the pepperoni spice is spicy and does have that kind of a meaty flavor that we remember. Tracy Reese says, would you put the California balsamic vinegar on after it's cooked? Yes, I would do it after you have cooked it. That way you can control, you can see how much of it you need. And yes, that's what I would do. Jessie says she puts that pepperoni spice on everything. Well, I'm going to try it with some tempeh and see how that goes. See if I can make the tempeh taste like pepperoni. We'll see how that goes. Okay. All right.
There was a question.
Has Dr. Greger been rescheduled?
Yes.
Mary Jo says,
Yeah.
yes, he has.
So,
Tom will tell you.
So yes, he is scheduled for next week, October 6th. But do look at the time.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's at 8 o'clock in the morning our time. We had to grab an hour. Well, we actually don't mind the hour earlier. So if you are up and about at that time of day, join us. They worked very hard to schedule you folks back in as soon as they could, because we were all set for that, and then found out just hours before the show that we needed to move it. So yes, next week we are spending a half hour with Dr. Greger. We did save all of the inquiries that were sent into us last week. For that, we have printed those and aggregated them to present those questions to him. And if you have a question that you didn't get sent in, please do so now to Tammy@nutmegnotebook.com. To save time, we really want to look at those questions, and you'll combine the ones that are very similar and really have our ducks kind of in a row so that we can make the most of that half hour of time that we have with him. So thank you for that question.
Yeah.
We were wanting to bring that up. That's why I had this graphic already in the queue here to show you guys. And remind everybody, please do come see us next week 1 hour early.
And to add to that, the questions need to be brief and they need to be more in general type questions. We cannot read to him a person's personal health history and what's going on. So the questions need to be more general questions rather than specific about your specific ailment, because of the interest in time and because he can't really give like medical advice, but he can give like in general answers to questions about a plant-based diet. So was there another question, Tom?
Yeah, another question from Tracy Reese about vinegars. Right underneath the Mary Jo's question about Dr. Greger. Would you put the California balsamic?
Oh, yeah, I already answered it. You must have been busy reading or something.
Oh, okay. All right. I just saw it because it was below Mary Jo's. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a few things that I make that I add vinegar to when I'm making them. But if you want to get the biggest, what do I want to say, flavor, I would just drizzle it on before you eat it, because you'll get more bang for your buck, I guess is what I want to say. So then they are talking about the pepperoni spice, and Jessie says she doesn't really consider it to be hot, but it does have zing to it, and I would agree with her. Okay, so now, Tom, it's time for true confessions. Are you ready to confess?
No.
Tom, you have to come back on. This is true confession time. We're going to come clean here.
There was an insinuation that I'm a bad influence on Tammy.
I don't recall saying that.
Because she's always so prepared. Why were we not prepared?
Well, okay.
You know, our schedule has been crazy ever since we got back from vacation, because we went right into these eye surgeries.
Yes.
And the follow-up visits, and then things with the other parts of our family. So our schedule has been really upside down for about
4 weeks.
4 weeks now, yeah.
It's been crazy. So I told Tom that this morning, I said, okay, we need to share with everybody what happened to us.
There was a failure in the Nutmeg Notebook kitchen.
There was a failure, you guys, and we are here to admit this failure.
What happens when you're not prepared?
Because we know that you guys think we're perfect, and we're not. And so last week in particular was a really stressful week, schedule-wise.
Just so nobody's nervous, the failure was completely a plant-based failure.
It was a plant-based failure.
Yeah, we did not go off of our plant-based plan at all.
Oh, no. Okay, so what happened was we had a very busy, hectic weekend, and Tom couldn't go grocery shopping with me, but I ran and got everything to make our salads. And then because of all the stuff that was going on the weekend, we had 3 family birthdays, and I was hosting a party here on that Sunday. And so all of my cooking for all weekend went for those birthday parties.
She cooked all weekend, but none of it was batch prepping. None of it was making ingredients. They were always bragging about having in a refrigerator ready to rock and roll, so that at any moment's notice we can throw a meal together, a healthy meal, a nutritious meal, a happy meal, a fast food meal from our plant-based refrigerator.
Right.
That did not happen.
No. So all of my cooking efforts went into, making stuff to take to the birthday parties. And then on Sunday, we hosted. And so all of my efforts on Sunday went into, making stuff for the birthday party that we were hosting. And then come Monday, then I had no salads left, and didn't get potatoes baked. We had a couple potatoes still left. Didn't get potatoes baked, and I had to take Tom in for his eye surgery. And
2 days in a row.
Yeah.
2 days in a
Well,
row.
we had to go 2 mornings in a row, right. So we were up like at 4 a.m., and so then when we got home, fed him lunch, and then we both took naps. And then too tired to do anything that night. We just ate stuff from the freezer and the fridge. And then the next day, had to take him back to get him checked. And we were still exhausted and off our schedule. And salads didn't get made again. And then we had the grandkids. And
salads didn't get made again.
Yeah. And
So I went to the fridge at dinner time.
And he said,
and
you didn't get rice made.
Yeah, I had a rice failure as well.
And we used up what we had in the freezer for the kids.
Yeah.
And then he said,
there was no salad. There was no food in the refrigerator. There was
we had the greens.
The greens.
But we didn't have any salads made. And we were both exhausted. And you said,
maybe we just need to get Chipotle.
And I said, this is exactly what we tell people not to do. This is exactly why batch prepping is so important.
You can get beans, vegan beans. You can get rice.
That has oil in it.
You can get fresh pico salsa. You can get corn. So you can get a lot of food at Chipotle that is plant-based.
And so here's the confession. We did go to Chipotle, and we did have Chipotle. And I told him, we have to share that this is classic. This is exactly why. And we had soup in the freezer that we could have heated up, but we didn't have any grains made.
Because somebody didn't make rice, which I usually heavily augment my soup with a cup of rice or more.
And we didn't have any of the shelf stable already cooked rices. We didn't have any frozen.
Did we eat those up?
Yeah, we ate those all up.
So
anyway,
when you
this
don't
is
batch
true
prep,
confession.
Yeah, when you don't batch prep and when you don't bake your potatoes and when you don't prepare your rice, I thought, I think I had dump soup for lunch, so I didn't want to do dump soup again. I don't recall exactly.
I don't remember what
because dump soup takes a while. That's not a fast process.
Yeah, it was already like 6:30. We were tired. We were hungry.
The only
terrible excuses.
The only saving grace was traffic was great. We drove straight to Chipotle. We parked in the back lot so we didn't have to fight for a parking spot in the front of the building. Walked in the side door so that nobody would see us. And we snuck through the line, got our Chipotles, got back out to the car, left the parking lot, turned right, didn't even have to stop, got into the left turn lane to do the U-turn, no oncoming traffic, whipped a U-turn, and then headed back to our street, hung a right, got back to our house. I didn't have to stop. So none of our local fans busted us copying out going to Chipotle. It was perfect until she decided to do True Confessions. So anyway, lesson learned.
Tracy Reese says, sounds like a typical working family with kids' night, except they would have went to McDonald's. Right, exactly. Somebody's asking about Salad Works. There is a Salad Works here. It's about 15 minutes away, and Chipotle was 5. And so it was classic, you guys. This is exactly what happens if you don't batch prep. And here's the thing, that not having salads, potatoes, and grains ready, this is the first time that has happened to us in 7 or 8 years, because it's such a priority with me every week that I get it done. And our schedule was so wild and crazy. It did not get done.
Salad Works closed.
What'd she say?
She said, was Salad Works closed?
I know, right?
Why couldn't you have gone to Salad Works?
Well, and we could have gone to Whole Foods. We could have gone to Whole Foods and gotten the salad bar there. We could have done that. There were healthier options.
I'll take full responsibility for the Chipotle direction. That's
he totally wanted it. And he was having a rough week and blah, blah, blah. All the excuses. So anyway, I told Tom, we just need to share that with you, that happened to us. It's the first time that I haven't batch prepped probably since like 2015.
Did you see Dog Mom's comment? Who even are you anymore? If you failed, you failed not just you, but for us.
I know, right?
It's such a valuable lesson for all of us, is it not?
It is.
Yeah,
it is. And that's okay. So here's what happened.
We failed for you, so we could hold that up as a living, true example.
That's right. And we want to tell you that. So then it was the end of getting towards the end of the week, and the greens, we couldn't make those into salads that were going to last then for the next week. And so what we did is we took gallon-sized bags, and instead of taking the salad ingredients and putting them in our salad containers, we put them in gallon-sized freezer bags, and we froze them. And because we don't use lettuce in our salads, everything can be cooked. And when we went to Alaska the night before we left, we had 4 or 5 salads left, and I just took and froze them, which was great, because then when we got back, we were able to cook those, because we didn't have fresh vegetables here, and we were able to take those frozen salad mixes and we just sauteed them. I think Tom even used one of them in his dump soup, and that it worked great. So, and it was so nice to have those that we could just do that with. So now we
I was
have...
dumping all kinds of the broccoli slaw that we didn't get put into salads, the shredded carrots that didn't get put into salads. I was dumping all kinds of stuff in my dump soup was a full pot that day.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, Jesse says we screw up on batch prep at least once a week. Sometimes we do something weird at home like red cabbage and garbanzos, and sometimes we order steamed veggies and potatoes and rice from a local restaurant. Yeah. So there you go. That's what happened. So we froze those salads, and now we have them because we can use them in soup, or we can just saute them oil-free in the pan and do that. So there you go. Sia says, I enjoyed this hour. Thank you. Time for dinner here. Be well and see you in October. Thanks, Sia. Thanks for joining us today. So Susan says, my true confession is we go to Panda Express every Saturday night for fried rice, and I love their super greens. Yeah. Well, it's just what happened.
Sherry's got a great point here.
What does she say?
She's let me off the hook. The lesson is that you can eat that type of meal in an emergency because you are so faithful to the whole food, plant-based lifestyle otherwise. I'll take that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the end of the world. And, I love that Doug Lyle says, we don't have to have an A day every day in regards to our food. It's okay if we have a B- or a C day. And Dr. Esser says, we don't have to strive for perfection, that we should just be striving for excellence on every day. And I wouldn't say that was an excellent day, but it is what happened. Yeah, Tom.
Do you want to talk about what we got coming up in 2 weeks?
Sure.
As we're winding down here.
Sure. First, I want to repeat what Jesse wrote here.
Oh, go ahead.
It's amazing what we consider to be indulgences these days. Well, isn't that the truth? That is the truth. Well, and I don't think that Chipotle is like the worst thing that you can get. You can still eat vegan there, but it is going to have oil and it is going to have sodium in it. So, and I got a salad with brown rice, both types of beans, and salsa. So, and we got the guacamole on the side, and we just shared some guacamole because, with the veggie salad, you get guacamole. So I gave half of it to Tom and I had half of it. So it was like, not the worst thing. Yeah, and Tiffany says those days happen and how wonderful we can get back on board at the next meal. Exactly. So Lynette says you froze the salad, the romaine lettuce too. No, Lynette, I no longer use romaine in my salads. So if you watch the Speedy Salad batch prep, it's like the newest one we have. I told Tom I think we should take down the old video where I was using romaine. So now I don't use any romaine. We use spinach, baby spinach, baby kale or shredded kale. We haven't been able to find baby kale for months and months and months. So I'm actually just using like shredded kale. And sometimes we'll use the power greens, and we use arugula and red cabbage, red onions, broccoli slaw, shredded carrots, and did I say red cabbage and red onions? And and tomatoes. And all of that can be cooked. And so we just can freeze it. And sometimes I'll decide I don't want a chopped salad. I'll saute it instead and serve it over a potato or serve it over some kind of a grain and add some California balsamic to it. So that's one of my easy go-to, like if I want a hot meal, I'll just do that. Okay, so we're going to talk about what's coming up. Has it been an hour? Whoa, the hour goes by so fast, you guys.
You're 10 minutes over.
Okay, so Tom already told you next week we have Dr. Greger at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So join us for that. Tom will send out a reminder the day before. So if you're not on our mailing list, please go over to nutmegnotebook.com and sign up to be on our mailing list. That way you'll always know what's going on. Then on the 13th of October, this month is gonna fly by. We're almost into October. On October 13th, we will have Debbie Adler on, and she has a new cookbook, the Mediterranean Plate, and it is SOS free cooking. And can you get any of those to come up?
Well, it should. Here, I
Why
need to
is
click
it?
on this one.
Okay, click on that one. There we go. The Mediterranean Plate, plant-based recipes, gluten-free, sugar-free, salt and oil-free. And so super excited.
That fits real well with our food philosophy.
Yes, and she is going to be doing a cooking demonstration for us. She's going to be making these pistachio biscottis for us. Biscottes.
Okay.
Those look absolutely beautiful, and I'm sure they are delicious. So she did send me the manuscript of the cookbook, and it looks lovely. So I'm very excited to have her on. I think that will be very fun for everyone. And then we are trying to, we're working on getting Sia on the show. And then in November, their Faith with a new cookbook called Faithful Plateful, and it's a children's cookbook. It's all for, kids, to get the kids in the kitchen and get them cooking. And she will be joining us. And we will have Wanda Huberman from the NHA, and Lisa McCarl, who is the travel agent for the NHA cruises, and they'll be on November 10th to talk about upcoming trips and how you can travel and eat plant-based. So lots of exciting things coming up in our world, and we do want to leave open, just some time every month where we can just have these hangouts with you all and answer your questions and just get to know you guys better as well. So Cheryl says, great stuff coming up. Yes, thank you. Gail says, when we go out, I just deal with the tomato sauce having salt, oil, and sugar. Not the end of the world to have on a rare occasion, particularly since I eat very well all other times. And I think that's a very good attitude to have, Gail. So, absolutely. Alrighty.
Susan's making a comment. I talk about this too. I'm 68 and don't take any medicines. She's 70 and she's not taking any medicines. That's so great.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I have to take is my thyroid medication, which, I don't have control over that. And so, yes, it's pretty wonderful that, how old are you? 67, 68?
8.
And I'm 63. And so, and when Tom had his eye surgery, I just want to point out, the anesthesiologist was talking to him, and he was like, and what about blood pressure medicine? No. What about diabetes? No.
Insulin? No. He just kept going down this list, and it was like, you don't take anything? I said, no, I don't.
And he told you that this was very rare.
Yeah, he said, wow, that's rare. No, because their patients at that particular surgery center are my age and up for cataract surgery. So they're usually dealing with people with multiple meds. In fact, I overheard other people in beds next to mine that were listing off all their medicines. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, we feel very fortunate with that. So please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to our channel here. And if you click the bell, then you'll get notifications.
I just gave us a thumbs up. Is that narcissistic?
Yeah. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
No, this is the second computer. The other computer here is where we're broadcasting from. This is my computer.
But doesn't YouTube know who we are from the
thumbs up was from Tom.
Okay.
It was for Tim. I can do that. All right, it took it.
You're so funny.
I saw it go from 37 to 38.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh,
All right, you guys.
Yeah, Cheryl is 71 and no meds.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, we can contribute this
Not,
to.
not that everybody can be without meds, but it does become not that it's justifiable. It does become a matter of pride.
Sure. But also I want to say, if you have a heart condition, if you have high blood
your
pressure,
meds.
and just doing the plant-based diet has not completely corrected it, do not feel bad about that, because you have probably reduced the amount of medication that you have to take for those issues greatly. And so pat yourself on the back for that. There's no shame if you have to be taking medication. I still take thyroid medication, and I don't feel guilty or bad about that, because we're all doing.
We had a local friend that was distraught because she had to go back on the med.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you need that med.
Yeah.
For your,
The plant-based diet is a great diet. SOS free is great, but it is not the magic pill for absolutely reversing everything. And so does it increase our immunity and give us a better chance of overcoming medical issues? Absolutely, positively. But if it hasn't corrected everything, don't feel bad about that. I feel like, we ate not so great. We didn't know about whole food plant-based, and we did not have a stellar diet probably for most of our adult life. So the fact that we have been able to reverse as many things as we have is a wonderful thing. So try to look at the glass as being half full instead of half empty. So Jesse and Tiffany, thank you so much for all of your work in the chat today. Thank you everyone for participating and putting your survey question answers in the chat. And I will go back and watch this, and I will add your tallies to my list here. And if you want to email us at any time, you can email to either Tammy at nutmegnotebook.com or Tom at nutmegnotebook.com. So thanks for being here today. We hope you have a wonderful week. We will see you next Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time.
With Dr. Greger.
With Dr. Greger.
Yeah, and by the way, to clarify, we're on with him for the first half hour. We will stay on after he has to go to his next session or wherever that's scheduled at, because he books his sessions in 30-minute pieces, and so he'll be moving on to some other channel. We will stay and finish our show and do our full hour.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Sounds great. Thanks for being here, you guys. I'm Tammy.
And I'm Tom.
And we help you
Get healthy
and stay healthy one meal at a time. Bye.
I didn't have the little thing ready. Okay, there it is. Here we go.